Man was so concerned that his love interest had a good first date that he sent a survey beforehand to find out all of her likes and her dislikes. It included things like, when is the earliest you would like to start the date? And what style of date would you prefer? Well, it obviously worked, as they are still together today. I mean, there they are, very happy, very much in love. He looks like a fun guy to me, so I would like to think that this survey, it wasn't in any way seriousness. It was just a bit of fun. It was a bit of a giggle with her.
And I love that he put in a bit of attention, you know, he put a bit of thought into it and planned it all out. These days, I think guys trying to be a little bit cool, don't they? Not that I haven't been in the dating game for a while now. But you know what I mean? It's nice for a guy to show interest and to be thinking about those sorts of things before they...
And wanting them to have a nice time.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I first saw it, the thought that he had done it did bring the picture of Mr. Bean to my head. And I did think, oh, my God, that's the cringiest thing. But actually, if you look at it and just seeing the picture of them, I think it was very much done tongue-in-cheek. It also does take a lot of the wasted time out of it, you know, if you don't like beaches, if you don't, you know what I mean? So I think it's probably quite a fun thing. Would you do it? You'd do it, wouldn't you? Do a questionnaire? You do a survey.
Well, I was asked this morning about my many first dates, and I said, well, I'd really, I've had probably 2 in my entire life, because usually I do it the other way round. I meet them at a party. I mean, this is my track record. I've met them at a party, spent the night with them, and then decided if there's going to be a first date. But it is true that my second husband, when we got divorced, I said to him, look, I can't be bothered to go on a date. Can you just find someone that's, you know, I'm going to get on with? And he did. And I said, can you find someone that I'm really, really going to fancy, who's attractive? And then I went, not like you. Exactly. Because we just got divorced. I went, by that, I didn't mean he was a nasty person, because he was nice, but I wanted someone older.
Different.
So he did introduce me to my 3rd husband. And I did go for lunch with him, and we got on very, very well, and I married him. I still divorced him after 7 years.
I know, but that's just what you do.
Good innings, you know.
What was your first date like?
Well, my first date, we, as everyone knows, we met at the Pride of Britain Awards, but then Frank went away with England to the Ukraine, I think it was, and he was away for weeks, so we spoke on the phone loads, and there was one night we spoke for 5 hours. And it passed us by so quickly. So by the time I actually met him in the flesh for the sort of first time, I knew everything about him. I knew about his family, and it was just comfortable. But I remember him calling me up and saying, look, should we go for dinner? And I said, well, look, this week's a bit tough. I've got my mum and my sisters over, and maybe next week. And he said, bring them with you. And I went and I met him for our first date, and my mum and my sister, we all sat and had something to eat. And I'll have to say, with the best laugh, and it was on that first date with my mum and my sister that my sister, and she said it at our wedding in her speech, she knew there and then that we were meant to be. Because she could see the connection.
Getting it all over with in one night.
One fell swoop. It's a bit like a glorified survey, isn't it, really? Bring your mum and the family along, let everyone tick all the boxes, and it's done. It works.
Mine was... again, I've told this story many times with different topics of... I did meet Lincoln at at 6 o'clock in the morning in a nightclub Storm that doesn't open till 4. It was for the hardcore ravers. And so it wasn't...
But you took 2 hours to meet him, though.
It wasn't the most romantic. We thought we'd sort of glided across a dance floor to a love song, and people said, no, you were the only 2 left in there to get off with. That was actually it. So our relationship was... my marriage had ended, but the press didn't know that. It was all a bit shrouded in a lot of madness. But anyway, our first few visits, I will be honest, were nocturnal, Janet. And we didn't really think of much of a future until one day we decided we would meet for lunch. And we went for lunch, and it was this cafe in Wembley, because I was doing Dancing on Ice, this sort of random cafe in Wembley. And it was the first time that we sat down and properly talked to each other and found out about each other's families. And that's when I realised that it had a future. We then did go and take a room in the local Quality Inn, but that's another story.
Keeping it nocturnal.
I think me and Ro are so boring
together
compared to all these stories. We just went to the Curry House. We went to this cute little restaurant in Sydney, actually. But a little bit like you and Frank, he just laughed and just had the greatest night. And then I slipped out and got the bill. And I think that really peed him off because he wasn't prepared for that. But
You're proving a point. That...
Yeah, it's proving a point. It's like, yeah, I've got this, you know. But compared to your first dates, I feel like we're all a little bit boring.
No, I think that's lovely because you were producing X Factor, weren't you, in Australia? Is that right?
At the time, it was, I might have been on The Voice by then.
Oh, The Voice.
Yeah. But we met back on the X Factor.
Right, okay.
So that's how we met. But then we were friends for a while and lots of chemistry and stuff. But it was sort of, it took a lot to sort of actually decide to go on a date. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of, you know, there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and distance and everything.
Irish and Australian and, you know, my career and family. And I wasn't really sure about the whole thing because of Ro and who Ro was and his profile and if I was ready for that. So we kind of dated discreetly with like beanies and hats for a little while too, a little bit under the cover like you.
Not quite nocturnal.
Yeah, had to be. Sure.
You're all so nice. And then there's me.
And then there's Janet. Be more nocturnal. That's the best term I've heard today.
Absolutely.
I like it a lot.